Hello and welcome to the Weird Lone Girl Podcast. I am your host, Frank Gerain. I'm here with the Weird Lone Girl, Katie Lewis. Of course, hello, Katie. And we have a very special guest with us today. We have Rosanna Garcia. Hello, Rosanna. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having me today.
Good. You bet. It's a pleasure for us to have you here. We're very excited to learn about what you got going on. I'll give everybody just kind of the little lowdown here so they know who we're talking to. Rosanna Garcia has been in the business actually a really long time, but over the past 25 years is where you kind of you were in the restaurant business for a minute there, hot minute, and then you said, nah, I'm going back into real estate. You've been doing it for 25 years now since you got back in. You own your own company, family company, right? Garcia Real Estate, so it's a family company. In the past 12 months, you've closed 15 transactions, which is absolutely notable. Round of applause for that. Yeah, absolutely great. About 50-50 buyers and sellers. Terrific stuff. So, hey, we're just going to dive right in, Rosanna, if that's okay. And we're just going to have Katie tee up a couple of questions for you, and we'll just kind of go from there. So okay. How's that sound? Sound good?
It sounds good. Can I tell you my name's Rosanna?
Rosanna, yes. Probably we should have clarified that in the beginning, yet we didn't. But that's okay. We're there now. Rosanna, I got it. Thank you so much. And if I mess that up, Katie, be sure to point that out to me if I mess that up again. All right, Katie, what's the first question for Rosanna?
All right, Rosanna. What strategies have been most effective for you in generating leads and closing deals?
Staying on top of the database, following up with past clients. That's the best. I always tell people, why are you going to pay or spend extra time when you have built-in loyal fans that you can go to tap into for other referrals? And also my involvement with Women's Council of Realtors is a critical part of my business.
So two things there. Okay, staying top of mind with the database. That's a question coming up later. We'll just tackle it right now, and that's all good. But and then WCR, Women's Council of Realtors. So let's talk about the database side of things. So staying in touch with them, what does that mean? Like, do you have like a set time, like it's every 30 days or every 60 days or every 90 days, and it's a phone call, it's an email, it's a thing? Is there anything like regimented in that regard, or are you free for all? Just kind of feel like it's time to touch base with them? What is it?
Yeah, I think when so we get notifications sometimes from our title companies telling us, oh, just to let you know, it's been 6 months, 1 year since you've closed this transaction. So our partners in the whole thing help too. And I'll usually shoot people a text. I usually will follow up with my clients for the first month, like every week, to say, how's everything going? Because, people have questions when they first move in, like, where's the mailbox key?
Right.
Things like that. And then I also like to follow up with people, say, hey, don't forget you moved. You got to do a new registration for voting. So I always have things to touch bases with. So I try to do that and just follow up with people, because I don't want them to think that deal's closed, you're out of sight, out of mind.
Stay up.
Yeah.
Hey, so you're causing me to think of other things too as I'm listening to you. So like that first month, every week, do you have for yourself like a checklist? Like, week 1 I talk about this, week 2 I talk about that, or is this it's just ingrained in your head? From doing it for so long. Yeah. Okay. And then the other thing you said was, so we said that. Oh, and WCR. You say WCR is a big part of your business, and the question was. Strategies, right? That help you get more business, and you mentioned WCR in answering that question. How would being a part of WCR help in that regard? How do you feel like that helps?
So Women's Council puts you in the spotlight because our organization is recognized in the industry as one of the top producing leaders and also professionals in our business. So we have a really tight referral network within our organization also. So by being a part, involved, and in leadership, it propels you to get recognized across the country, and you get referrals. So my referral business just from Women's Council of Realtors is minimum $50,000 a year in net commissions.
Shut your mouth right now. You've got to be kidding me right now.
I'm not kidding. Just from being involved and being in leadership, because I've been I'm past state president for California. I currently have a national position. So being in the spotlight and being recognized as the premier organization for cultivating professionals and leaders in our industry, people gravitate to you automatically. And I tell people all the time, it's the best $210 a year that I've ever invested.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, I mean, I tell people the story all the time because when people complain about, well, what do I get? Well, I said, well, let's start with, first, everything else you get on top of referrals.
Yeah.
So, it's a vital, I would say vital to any new person in the business. I just had a conversation with a young woman who's been in a year and a half. And I said, first thing, and she's in Vacaville. So she's over by you. And I told her she's going to join the Contra Costa network because she said she's kind of more in that Oakland, Berkeley kind of area. So she said, I'm going to join Contra Costa. I said, you're going to thank me later.
Wow. Interesting, right, Katie?
Yeah, that is interesting.
I did not expect this on the first question.
Yeah.
You didn't either, did you?
No, it was impressive.
All right, well, that's cool. Hey, that's great information. Very interesting. Hadn't looked at it that way. Hadn't heard anyone say that yet. So awesome. WCR, awesome. Database, awesome. Okay, Katie, what's the next question?
Question number 2. Do you have a niche or a niche that you use in your marketing?
So being bilingual is probably our strongest suit. In that we are big presence in the Hispanic community and the market because we were the first Hispanic brokerage in the region. So our family started our business during the passing of the Fair Housing Act at the federal level in 1968. And so we've continued that legacy of selling to our Hispanic community.
So I got a kind of a side question there. Do you primarily do Hispanic speaking customers?
Not primarily, but it's probably half of my business.
Half of it?
And you have to understand that the Hispanic buying market is the fastest growing segment of the buying market in the country.
So
in case you didn't know, Garcia is the #1 surname in the country now, not Smith.
There you go. So you're saying I should brush off those Rosetta Stone CDs and start brushing up on the El Español.
It would help.
It would help. Okay, great stuff. So the niche side is the bilingual thing. That's pretty cool. You know what they say, use it if you got it, right? Absolutely. Right. And if you can speak that language, absolutely. And I don't want to say take advantage of it, but I do want to say make sure you make use of it for sure, right? Because that's very beneficial, especially to a lot of people, especially in our area. There's so many Spanish speakers.
Oh yeah. Well, and not only that, it helps to do business in their native language because they can understand better.
For sure.
I have plenty of clients that they speak both English and Spanish, but they prefer to do business in Spanish.
On a side note, again, I always do these side notes. Is it at all difficult to convey in Spanish the stuff that's in the car contract or anything like that, or is it pretty simple? It's not very any different.
There's some words that are different, but in general, you can get the gist.
Okay.
You're not going to go word by word, but in essence.
Yeah. Okay, good. Do they make us a car contract that is just in Spanish?
Yeah, actually, they do have translation in a multiple languages.
Yeah. Have you ever used that at all?
You know what? I haven't. I don't know why I haven't, because probably because I know it by heart, so I explain it. And I just never have. And, any questions that they have, I'm able to answer. So, most people just want to know, how much am I spending?
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
What's my payment?
Language.
What's it going to cost? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the common denominator in any language.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome stuff. All right. Well, let's move on. What's the next question, Katie?
All right. Let's see. What's your favorite marketing method or platform?
Yeah. Do you have one? A favorite, because you're very, past client database oriented. Do you do anything at all marketing wise?
I do. I like to do, so in my neighborhood, I like to do postcards. And so I just do it for my immediate neighborhood because we're involved in the neighborhood association, and our office is in the neighborhood and my home is in the neighborhood. So I know everybody and everything about it. And I live in a historic downtown Sacramento area. So the knowledge I have about all the things that are going on and who's moving and where's everyone going, it's very valuable because that's what people want to know. So they like to come to us to say, hey, like, what are they building over there? Do you think this is going to happen? What's going to happen here? Like, what's going on with the neighborhood association? I was telling, like I said earlier, the young lady, make your platform like what you know. Don't try to go outside of what you don't know, because then you're not the expert. You're the expert. I live here, I work here, I do my shopping here, I walk around here, I go to the gym 2 blocks away. Everything is right here. So people come to us because they know that we know what's going on here.
In the postcard medium that you're fond of, how many are you sending out and how often would you say?
And not as often as my husband would like me to.
Okay.
He just walked in the room. But anyway, I try to do it on a listing basis, sold basis, and then also I like to give information on upcoming events, because that's always interesting to people. They don't always care about, well, they care about what sells in their neighborhood. They do, because it's a very tight community. But I like to give announcements like this festival's coming up, like right now, the rage is the Kings, Sacramento Kings. So try to do it at least every couple months.
I like the fact too that you have the understanding. This is something that I've coached for a really long time, is that the main time that people are really interested in housing or mortgage, something like that, is when they're in the middle of doing it. Right now, of course, like you said, they certainly want to know what's going on in their neighborhood. But so if you can get yourself out there attached to marketing that's not necessarily strictly about real estate, but like you say, about events or things like that, then you become interesting to them in general, right?
Correct.
It's like, what's Rosanna got to say this time, right? What's going on here? So that's cool. Anything outside of postcards that you do at all marketing wise, or is that the primary thing that you focus on? I don't spend a lot of money on marketing. Like I tell people, buying leads, doing all these platform things. To me, I think you're better off putting all your efforts into your database. Love it. I absolutely love it.
Personal notes, like I handwrite cards too, to say, hey, thanks for this. And, depending on like a closing gift, I always have a closing gift of some sort. And that varies from client to client, depending on their need. But yeah, I try to, and then every year I stay in touch during Christmas, holidays. I send out holiday cards and then give them something small. Like we're big lottery fans. So like I'll send a lottery ticket to people and say, best of luck in the new year, things like that. Yeah. So if
you win, let's go buy more houses.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Right. I don't think we answered this though. Like when you do your postcard farm, how many postcards is that? Like, is it 1,000 or is it 500? What is it?
No, it's usually about, I would say 500, because I try to just do it to the immediate neighborhood.
Right.
I don't try to go too far out because they know us here.
Right. Very focused. Yeah. And you've been doing that for years.
And I've been doing that for a long time. And I'll tell you that it produces like at least 1 or 2 interests. Like a year, people will call me and say, hey, I get your postcard. Hey, thanks for the lotto tickets and thanks for the lottery tickets. And so I'd like to know what my house is worth or whatever it might be. Yeah.
Very cool, man. This is really cool. Well, let's go on. I can't wait to see what's next. What's the next question, Katie?
Okay. Can you share a specific example of a challenging transaction you navigated successfully and what you learned from that experience?
So we're looking for one of those, Rosanna, one of those moments in real estate you're like, I can't even believe this is happening right now. But I'm going to get through it. Anything stick out from the past?
Well, you know what? I'm trying to think there. I'm sure, well, when you've been in the business this long, there's always something. You know what? I say my skill set is communication. Mm-hmm. So many agents, lenders, people don't communicate. Like you get one email from somebody and then you don't get any phone calls. And so I would say that, sure, there's always going to be something that arises, but I think that by communicating and being transparent, that is the most effective, because when people try to hide and lie and skirt around things, that's when things blow up in your face. And I just, I'm just really good at, I make a connection from the very beginning when I'm trying to get my offer accepted. And right now, I mean, we're still in multiple offer situations.
Oh yeah, it's brutal.
I mean, people think that like it's, a buyer's market, and I'm going to close a deal next week with a family that when she first came to me, she thought that she knew everything about the market and, everything's selling way under what they're listing it for and so on and so forth. And so when I finally dialed it in for her and showed her that where she wanted to be specifically, everything was going over asking and with multiple offers, I said, you have to understand it's, block by block. That's how real estate is, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of, having an incident with the realtor, I really, I'm surprised many times at how unprofessional people are, and how they have a lack of education on some things. So, sometimes I'll come home like, oh my God, I got another rookie. Oh no, I'm going to have to do both sides of the transaction. But I never give up, and I'm always negotiating and I'm always communicating. So I can't think of anything right now that really stands out that I was like, just pulling my hair out, because I'll tell you what, like I tell everybody, after being in the restaurant business for 10 years, real estate is a walk in the park. And that's not a
That's
lie.
hilarious.
Yeah, and that's not a lie. People always go, oh, it's so stressful. I was like, what's stressful?
Try owning a restaurant.
Yeah. Try owning 3 restaurants with 25 employees and working with your husband.
Yeah.
Which I gotta believe is probably a delight.
It's a delight. It's
an absolute delight.
150%.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. I'm loving this. Hey, what's the next question, Katie? I can't wait.
How do you stay organized and manage your time effectively?
Yeah.
Well, in doing all the things that I do, like my husband says, way too many lanes that I'm driving in.
Yeah.
I mean, I rely heavily, of course, on Google Docs, Google Calendar. We live by that, share the calendar, all that stuff, because there's no way that you can. So I haven't told you everything that I do, but I'm a California Association of Realtor Director. I'm a committee member at the National Association of Realtors. I have the national position at, Women's Council. And I also, I'm also going to be running, now I have to run because it's an elected position now, for a 2024 state liaison for California Women's Council. So there is never a dull moment. There's always something to do. And then also you have your business. And not to mention that my husband and I have 10 rental properties that we manage too, and he does our property management company. And so it's just a lot of stuff. And so I think that the calendar is like everything, right? Yeah. You got to have that automated.
And you're a Google Calendar person. We are too.
And
we're
Google Docs. Yeah, and I love Google Docs, and I love to be able to access everything from wherever I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all very important. I use Dropbox too for the organization, and QuickBooks. I love QuickBooks too.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta use it, man. Gotta use it. That is a lot of stuff going on, Rosanna. I mean, that is a lot of stuff. Now, you've already answered the question. By doing these things, you can certainly get some referral business from it. But by doing these extracurricular activities, because there's many of them that you do, what other benefit is there to you to be so involved with so many organizations? What's the benefit to you? Why?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So first and foremost, it's so important for representation. Okay, so for me, representation matters. Another thing that my husband and I get into about. So I say to him all the time, when you step into leadership, you're mentoring other people, whether you know it or not, right? So I am really proud of the fact that our family, and I'm talking about like everybody that's involved, my parents, my brothers in the business too, all of us are leaders in our industry and in our community. And it just is a source of pride, and it's a source of like energy for me to be able to mentor people and really know that you're affecting people in a positive way by taking the steps of being involved. And so a lot of people say that they go, well, you're in real estate, you do all this stuff for real estate, but it's also important that we're representing at the, political level too. We're very involved in our PAC, political action, our PAC, the Realtor Party. And realtors don't understand, people in our profession don't understand that if you're not involved, our government's going to eat up our business.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So you do your business every single day and you think that it just happens by magic. Well, it doesn't. And if you're not involved and you're not out there protecting your home ownership rights and your clients' rights and everything else, they're going to eat away at everything that we can do to benefit our profession and our clients. And so it's so important to be involved at this level in terms of, political action, advocating, focusing on education for our fellow realtors, and just so we keep our profession at a high level. Like, we don't have a good profile when you ask the general public, what do you think about people in real estate? Sometimes it equates car salesmen, but that's an admirable profession, but still it's not a good reputation.
Right.
So we feel it's our obligation to come to the table in a professional, intelligent, ethical manner and represent not only the Hispanic community, but just our realtor community and help to make things better for everyone.
We have to give a round of applause on that one. That was quite nice. Very, very, very nice. Let me ask you this. How many hours does it consume for you? Like in a week?
You know what? I would say, I don't know how many hours.
Your husband might know. Do you want to ask?
I know. I think he's calculating. He's looking at me. So he's like, he just rolled his eyes. So, well, put it this way. I'm on a Zoom pretty much every day. So I'm going to say 10 hours a week.
10 hours a week. All right.
Yeah.
Good. Awesome.
Yeah,
stuff.
but 10 hours a week invested in being in leadership for it to result in what I just told you about referral business. I don't think that's a lot of time.
No. And the other thing too is that you become so knowledgeable in the industry, right? Like you could run circles around most people when it comes to the legal aspect of this industry and what's going on with the laws in real estate.
It changes every day.
Yeah.
It changes literally every day. And so when I get into a transaction with someone,
that's where I was going.
And when I get in a transaction with someone, so this is what I say to new people. I get in a transaction, I can tell somebody's new and I can see mistakes that they're making. And very politely, I'll say to them, I know you're new in the business and there's a lot to learn. You're going to make mistakes and that's part of learning, right? But I would really encourage you to get involved with the local association and take advantage of the education that we have, because our association provides great education to keep up on the profession, because it changes every day and the laws change every day. And not only that, know what's going on in the profession and the community so you can come informed to your clients. Because every time I talk to someone, I go, oh yeah, this is what's happening here and this is what's changed. And they're like, wow, you know a lot of stuff.
Right.
And it's like, well, yeah, because I stay informed and you have to stay informed.
Yeah.
You have to stay relevant. You got to stay relevant. And our industry is constant education. Constant.
And it'll be, and I think that becomes just like extremely apparent. Your knowledge base becomes extremely apparent when you start having that conversation for the first time with a new buyer or with a new seller, right? They're going to instantly realize Rosanna's got it going on. She knows stuff, like lots of it, and which builds confidence, right? It immediately gives trust and confidence is what it does. So good stuff.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and not only that part, but even speaking about that when you work with, buyers for the first time, because, and, Katie knows, when you have new buyers, they either know everything already because they read the books.
Right.
They Googled
or their dad and their uncle told them.
Right. They know what's going on.
Yeah. So they know what's going on. So, when you get to them and you say, this is what I do, this is what I eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and this is what my book of business and my portfolio looks like. So if your people have more than this and are doing this full time, I would say you should probably listen to them, but they're not.
Right.
So yeah, just like I wouldn't tell your dad how to build a house,
Right.
he's not going to tell us how we're doing our business.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Katie, what's the next question?
Basically, stay in your lane, right?
Yeah, stay in your lane. Right.
I love that. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. What advice would you give to a new or average producing agent looking to increase their success in the industry?
I think that we covered a lot of it. You got to work. The people that you've made relationships with already, those are the people you have to go to for your next book of business. Because if they trusted you and they would say, come back to you again, then certainly they would refer you. I mean, we have people that say, do not call anybody else but this family, period. And especially in our Hispanic community, because they trust. And many of those people, as you know, back in the time of the fraudulent loans, you know, maybe before you were born, Katie, but anyway, it was a little while back. It was, you know, they took advantage of the minority communities, our Hispanic community, the Black community, the Asian, they all were dealt those bad cards. So now some of them are very cautious in coming back into the market. And so they get referrals from their friends saying, like, who do we trust? And so that's a big deal for us because we have our communities back and they know it. So we go to bat for them forever. Like I tell my clients, you have any issues, you have any questions, there's no stupid question, there's no stupid issue, you call me and I'll fix it for you. They call me the magician.
And that was a fabulous answer to the question. I do want to go back to it though and just see if there's, with all your experience and having gone through what you mean. Hey, you started as a brand new agent. There was a time when you didn't have you didn't have a person that, you know, you didn't, like someone who's brand new today. Any just tip for them, like, hey, get moving, just to get moving, do this.
So, like I said, get to know. So where do you want to work first? So are you going to work your neighborhood? So if you're going to work your neighborhood, then start getting to know your neighbors, start getting to know what's going on. Go talk to people. This is a person-to-person business. Like people just don't, like they say, you know, the Zillow stuff, everything. People are not going to just go online to find some random person to do business with. They want to know who they're doing business. That's why I tell people all these platforms are never going to put me out of business, because guess what? We don't know who they are. I have a well, I'll tell you this story after, but the one thing I would say is join Women's Council in your area and get involved in your local association. Because if you get involved in your local association and you start volunteering and showing up, and that's my favorite thing to say is just show up, all the other affiliate groups start to see you. Right? So here's your new agent, and you got lenders that have been in the business, and they see how you're volunteering and what you're bringing to the table. And they're like, you know what? I got this client that I think you'd be a good fit with. Let me refer you to them. Right? So you start picking up referrals that way too, but it's all about involvement and building relationships with our affiliate groups, with your community, with people in general. That's like the most important thing.
I love it. It's good stuff. Great
so
stuff.
Let me tell you this story.
Okay,
so I was on an airplane coming back from Los Angeles for Women's Council. And this is the power of talking to everybody. My husband likes to say, you're like Mrs. Kravitz. You're like in everybody's business. But it pays off, dear, very beautifully for me. So I'm in the airplane and I have a young couple next to me and they're looking at Zillow. And I don't know if you two ever watch Saturday Night Live, but they have a skit about Zillow. Being the new like erotica for the millennials.
Yeah, okay.
And it's hilarious. So they were looking at the Zillow, and I was kind of looking over, trying to see what they're doing. And I tell my friend, they're looking at Zillow, and so she starts laughing. And so they say to me, "Are you making fun of us?" And I said, "No, I'm not making fun of you. I said I'm in real estate, and I saw you're looking on Zillow. What are you guys looking for?" So we begin the conversation. They're moving from Fullerton to go to outside of Seattle, Washington. And I said, "Who's your agent in Washington?" And they said, "Oh, well, we found him on Zillow." I said, "Oh." I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, when that doesn't work out, here's my card." And I said, "I have great people that are in Washington State." 2 weeks later, No, I'm going to say a month later, I get a text. Do you remember me? And I text her back and I said, yeah, I remember you from the airplane. We had a conversation. She said, we'd like that referral in Washington. It didn't work out with the Zillow guy. So I refer them to Washington State. And lo and behold, they purchased a $1.5 million house. And that's 25% of the gross commission for me for being nosy.
So let me add that up real fast. So I'm just guessing. I don't know what the number is, but I'm betting you could buy groceries that month with that money.
For the year.
Just taking a guess. That is so awesome. That's such good stuff. Hey, what's the next question, Katie?
Next question. What area do you serve?
Sacramento, California.
Right.
The capital.
When you say Sacramento, go ahead.
So Sacramento proper, the city, and then I go to Elk Grove, I go to West Sacramento, and if you're really special, no, I'm kidding. I could go to Roseville or Rockland, but it's pushing it a little bit because I'm spoiled because most of my business is within 5-10 minutes of where I live. But yeah, I mean, pretty much the county, like, there's Rancho Cordova, there's all these little cities that are around. So pretty much the county is where I serve.
Okay.
All right. Next question.
And this is the last question. What's the best way for someone considering buying or selling a home in the areas you serve to reach you?
So they could reach me at my phone number, 916-202-7294. And my email is my first name, Rosanna, Rosanna, at GarciaRealEstate.com. And that's all one word, GARCIA, realestate.com.
I love it. Rosanna, thank you so much for being on our podcast. That was really, really fun. Big round of applause. And I want to everyone who's watching, I just want you to know, don't forget that Katie and I, we are what we call Weird Loan Girl. That's the name of our team over at Texana Bank, and we're here for the loans. So if you're watching this and you need somebody pre-approved, we'd like you to give us a call. We lend in all 50 states. We have on-time closing, superior communication, and unprecedented follow-up. That's what we specialize in, and that's what we're known for. You can reach us at 707-220-1444. So, Rosanna, thank you so much. It was a great pleasure, and we're looking forward to getting to know you better.
Yeah, thank you. It was great meeting you both, and thanks for having me.
All right, so we will see you guys next time here on the Weird Loan Girl podcast. I have to meet your husband. Can he? Can he pop into the screen?
Yeah,
can he pop in?
My New York City husband.
New York City. Hey, I was born in Queens.
Oh.
Yeah, I was born in. Can I see you?
You must be a Met fan.
I was a Jets fan, but then we moved to California.
Here he is.
There he is.
All right. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
Man behind the mic.
My name is Jeff Slotowitz.
Jeff, good to meet you. Good to meet you. I'm glad you're here because we always end these with a joke. So, Katie, lay it on us. What's the joke?
Right. How does NASA organize a party?
How does NASA organize a party?
Has something to do with pods, maybe.
No.
No?
I don't know. How does NASA organize a party?
They plan it.
No.
You know what? I should have known it was that simple.
Yeah, simple and sweet.
So what do you think, guys? On a scale of 1 to 5, the quality of that joke.
It's a good, clean joke.
Yeah.
Good, clean
Great
joke.
joke.
Awesome.